Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to the latest Hurricane Tracker app video update recorded Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017 at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't heard, just a few hours ago, the National Hurricane Center reinitiated advisories on Harvey. Harvey is now a tropical depression located here in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. You can see the cyclonic spin on the satellite loop, and you can also see that over the last few frames, uh, deeper convection, stronger thunderstorm activity is beginning to coalesce and develop near the center of circulation. So that is a sign that Harvey will continue to strengthen at this point and should become a tropical storm as forecasted by the Hurricane Center here by tonight, and if not tonight, definitely by tomorrow morning. Here is the latest official forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Again, as of right now, the system is a depression with winds of 35 miles per hour. It is moving to the northwest at 9 miles per hour. This is as of the 10 a.m. advisory this morning. And you can see the forecast cone here through the first 1 to 2 days is pretty narrow, but as we go out further in time, days 3, 4, and 5, there is a larger cone due to much uncertainty as to exactly what Harvey's going to do once the system nears the coast of Texas. But the system should be a strengthening storm, and even though it's not shown on this graphic, when the system is making landfall between this forecast point and this forecast point Saturday morning, the National Hurricane Center does expect it to be a hurricane. And here is an excerpt from their 10 a.m. discussion. They do say that although not explicitly forecasted, we are anticipating Harvey being a hurricane at landfall after the 48-hour forecast point, and this forecast agrees well with the guidance, almost all of which shows a quickly intensifying cyclone approaching the Texas coast. So therefore, we have hurricane watches that have been issued along with tropical storm watches, and we'll take a closer look at those in the next couple of minutes. But the big thing to note with this is that once Harvey reaches the coast, especially as we get into Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, the system is expected to really slow to a crawl and just kind of meander here across south central or southeastern Texas. And of course, that just means that, excuse me there, that just means that'll be a longer time for rainfall to fall and accumulate. And again, the biggest story with Harvey is expected to be very heavy rainfall training over some of the same areas, which could lead to life-threatening and catastrophic flooding. And we'll take a look at the rainfall forecast here in just a moment. Back to the watches, we do have a hurricane watch that has been issued for the coast of Texas from north of Port Mansfield, Texas, up to San Luis Pass, as indicated by the pink shaded region here. And just north of that, which includes Galveston Bay, we do have a tropical storm watch in effect from north of San Luis Pass to High Island, and a tropical storm watch is also in effect from the mouth of the Rio Grande River to Port Mansfield, Texas. So cities in the hurricane watch, we definitely have Corpus Christi, Matagorda, Palacios, Freeport, all the way to just southwest of the Galveston area. So this is the first time, I believe, since 2008 that hurricane watches have been issued for the Texas coast. The last hurricane to threaten or to make landfall here was Hurricane Ike many, many years ago. Along with the tropical storm and hurricane watches, the Hurricane Center has also issued a storm surge watch for the potential of 4 to 6 feet of storm surge, especially to the north and east of where the center makes landfall later this week. And the storm surge watch has been issued from Port Mansfield, Texas, all the way up to High Island, Texas. So those of you who live along the coastal areas that are prone to coastal flooding, you should definitely monitor future forecasts very closely on Harvey from the National Hurricane Center. As of right now, the system is expected to move towards the northwest, and tropical storm winds are forecasted by the National Hurricane Center. The most likely time for them to arrive along the Texas coast would be Friday morning. and then Friday afternoon and evening into southeast Texas and into south central Texas. And of course, this time it could change just a little bit if the storm speeds up or slows down just a little bit. But right now, there is a high chance of tropical storm force winds in the 60 to 70% range here along the mid-Texas coastline. As with most tropical systems, the biggest threat is usually not wind unless you're talking about a category 2, 3, 4, or 5 storm. But in this case, especially the way it's looking right now, the biggest story is going to potentially be very heavy rainfall due to the slow moving nature of this storm over the weekend as the steering currents break down. Right now, the official forecast anywhere in the red shaded area is 10 inches of rain for most of southeast Texas and also a portion of southwestern Louisiana. And closer to the coast here and around the Galveston Bay area and High Island, the Weather Prediction Center is forecasting up to 15 inches of rain. And this may be on the conservative side in some areas, as some of the latest computer model guidance is printing out even more. For example, I want to take a look at the brand new run of the GFS just from within the last hour. And you can see as we put this animation in motion here, Harvey moves inland and just kind of sits, stalls, and meanders across Texas, basically from Saturday morning all the way through early next week, possibly even into Wednesday or Thursday. And again, this means moisture fetch off the Gulf, rain bands training over the same areas. And this is probably an extreme outlier, but we have seen this in some of the latest model runs. But the GFS model, the latest run, is forecasting a maximum of up to 50 inches could occur anywhere here in southeast Texas. Of course, that would not happen everywhere. And but widespread, the model is definitely showing over a foot of rain, possibly even more for a large chunk of southeast Texas and even southwestern Louisiana. Now, the rainfall forecast here for those of you in western Louisiana, it's a lower confidence forecast because of the weak and the very fluid forecasted steering pattern that we'll be setting up. We may have some erratic movement by the system. So there is a high chance of several inches of rainfall here in southwestern Louisiana, but it's not as imminent and as high confidence as it is here across southeast Texas. So if you're in southwestern Louisiana, definitely continue to pay close attention to future forecasts. Those of you along the I-35 corridor here from San Antonio up through the Austin regions, right now the bulk of the rainfall, the heaviest rain amounts, are forecasted to stay to your east, but you could still receive anywhere from 1 to 4, maybe 5 inches of rain. And of course, the rainfall projections are highly dependent upon the track of Harvey. So if Harvey were to come in a little farther south between Brownsville and Corpus and then move east, once it's near Laredo, it could bring more rain here into south central Texas near San Antonio and Austin. So you're definitely within a cone of uncertainty. You can't take your eyes off the forecast, even if you're well inland here across central and south central Texas. Still keep an eye on Harvey. Even those of you in deep south Texas, Brownsville, McAllen, Harlingen, you cannot let your guard down off on this storm yet, as the final track is yet to be determined. Focus on the cone, not the exact track at this point. So kind of in summary here, our latest 5-day alert levels. We have high alert levels posted basically from Corpus Christi all the way up into southwestern Louisiana. This simply means you're at a high risk of being impacted by an active or developing tropical cyclone. You should be gathering your supplies, building your hurricane kit, looking to see if you're in a flood-prone area, checking with your local emergency management officials and offices, and of course paying attention to them if they issue any voluntary or mandatory evacuation orders. So definitely pay attention to your local news, your local emergency management officials. Make sure you are prepared in case those watches are turned into warnings. And just south and north of the high risk areas, we do have elevated risk. That means you're still at an increased threat of being impacted. Of course, in Louisiana, western Louisiana would mainly be, at this point, impacted by heavy rains and potential flooding, and also down here in northeastern Mexico and deep South Texas. Again, we could see more of a wind event if the system were to take a more west-northwest course versus more of a northwesterly track, and that's something we will definitely be watching here in the short term. I want to thank you so much for using the Hurricane Tracker app. If you're a user, if you don't have it and you need to track Harvey, visit our website at www.hertracker.com for all the information. Of course, we will be here with video updates, audio updates, discussions, analysis, and all the latest information from the National Hurricane Center. As it appears, we will be tracking Harvey for at least the next maybe 5, maybe even 7 days across the southern United States. Thanks for watching, and have a great Wednesday afternoon.